Hey everybody, hope you're doing good. Thanks for coming to my channel. This is Bud Brown, living in Dumaguete City, Philippines. Yeah, baby. Oh, I'm so excited. I know you can't hardly tell it, but today was one of those great mornings. It's just noon right now, but as you know my schedule, we usually take off for a couple hours in the morning. Gloria goes to her McDonald's. I go to some place. These days it's been Gabby's at Florentina Homes. But anyway, a couple of things happened today that just made me so happy. Number one, I don't know if you remember Rod Talden, Kuya Rod. He had a YouTube channel. Everybody liked it. Such a nice guy, smooth talking, soft voice, real nice guy. Showed a lot of the sunrises and sunsets, but he had been not putting up videos for a couple months now, and several people had asked me, what happened, is he okay? So I did have his contact number, and he said, yeah, let's get together. So I want to just suffice it to say that he's been going over a rough patch in his personal life, not with his wife, because, you know, they're happily married, they got a great relationship, and she got her nursing license, so she's working, and everything's good, but, you know, his family back in the States, you know, there's some rough things going on. I think if he wants to tell what happened, he can. But the thing was, I knew him, and he knew me. He said, and I was surprised, he said he had followed my YouTube channel when I was back in California, just started, and I was doing videos about the Philippines and mostly speaking Tagalog, but he said he remembers so many videos that I did when I was sitting in my car, my favorite car, Lincoln Town car, and waiting for Gloria, and I was in the parking lot. And so many times I'm sitting in the parking lot waiting for Gloria to go shopping. Hello everybody, Bud Brown here. I'm in my car today. I'm sitting in the parking lot waiting for my wife, which is a very common occurrence. And so I thought, well, while I'm here, I'll just do a video, which I did. So anyway, we got to talking, and I didn't really know much about his life, but before we had talked, and he had some things that I wanted to really get into. He was a locksmith. He just mentioned it. He was a locksmith in Las Vegas. He lived in Alaska. He lived on a boat. And I said to myself, man, any one of those things has to have several good stories. So I said, you know what? We got a couple hours here. I'm all ears. Talk to me about being a locksmith. Because a locksmith, as you can imagine, has to have integrity. And there must be very stringent requirements to be an official licensed locksmith. So we trust them. Because, well, as you can imagine, there's no lock they probably can't get into. So I was curious about that. And I was thinking, anybody that lives in Alaska, they got to be a special character. I mean, because that's a rough, well, it seems like on the outside looking in, that's a rough environment. And so you got to be a pretty tough character to live in Alaska. So I wanted to hear about that. And also, I forgot to mention, he was a truck driver. He was an owner-operator. He had his own truck, big truck. And so I wanted him to tell me all, and also living on a boat. That's got to be full of good stories, huh? Living on a boat? That's something that was on my bucket list, but I think might have to be in the next life for that one. So we were sitting there, and he was telling me about, he was a carpenter. So, man, this guy has a lot of good skills. And I think people are that way. You know, they have a front that you just see from the outside, but they also have a history. And that's what I appreciate about meeting people and having coffee. I want to know some stories. So he was telling about working in Las Vegas as a locksmith, and he was also in carpentry. I remember Las Vegas because my hometown is 5 hours from Las Vegas. And at the time I was in construction, lath and plaster, and we went to Las Vegas because they paid union wages, which means good wages. But then he talked about he moved to Alaska. His dad was a military man, so they had moved around, and telling me how cold it got there. And then he started to talk about moving to southern Florida. He said, that's right after I came from Hawaii. And I go, what? Hold on here. You lived in Hawaii? He said, yeah, I lived on the Big Island. And now, I know most Americans know this, but for the ones that are not familiar with why they call it the Big Island, of the islands, I think there's 5 or so, I'm not that sure, but one of the islands is called Hawaii. So it's the same as the name of the state. So to avoid confusion, if you lived on the island called Hawaii, then they normally just say the Big Island. Now, the capital, Honolulu, is on an island called Oahu. And there's others too. But anyway, he said, yeah, he lived on the Big Island. What, really? I said, I want to know about that. Just at that moment, a lady walks up to the table, says, hello, Kuya Bud, and Kuya Rod, because that was a handle that he went by, and Bud Brown. She said, I saw your vehicle out there in the parking lot, so I wanted to come in and meet you. My whole family's here. What? She says, I'm from Hawaii. Huh? Oh my gosh, we just got finished talking about Hawaii, and then she walks right up. What's the chances? So, if you followed my videos for a while, you know that serendipitous events happen all the time. I started to make a little notepad on, oh, this happened, so I wouldn't forget it. And what's the chances of this happening? And I wrote it down. Pretty soon the notebook got filled up. I said, man, there's just too many. I'm not going to keep recording all of them. Well, this is one of them. We're talking, he starts to tell something and he kind of skims over Hawaii, and I make him go back to it. And I said, what? Well, what do you mean you lived in Hawaii? Yeah, the Big Island. And then right then, a lady comes up, hello, I'm from Hawaii, Filipino from Hawaii. So I thought, oh my gosh. So we went back to her family was in another part of the restaurant. So we went back there, took some selfies, and I took a little video, which I'll show right after I finish talking here. And they exchanged, and they had questions about being a nurse in the United States. Somebody from here, I'm not that clear on it, but it was Rod's knowledge, not mine, because I don't know anything about nursing and qualifications and this and that. But evidently, there is a test that nurses from the Philippines have to take to be to work in America. In something, that's the only letter I got, 4 letters. So Rod knew about it because his wife was planning to do that. And they had, different plans on her nursing and what's happened, and that was a long road to hoe. I mean, she had to jump through a lot of hoops, but she finally got her registered nurse diploma or certificate or what they have. So I'm real proud of her and him that they just jump whatever hoops you got to jump through, you got to do it, and that's kind of a good life lesson. Yeah, I want to do this, but it takes too long. I got to do so much paperwork. How bad do you want it? That's the question. How bad do you want it? So if you want it bad enough, then you'll have to pay the price to do it. But it'll be worth it in the end. So anyway, I wanted to share that coincidence with you, and I wanted to thank the family who introduced themselves to me and Rod. And I hope to see you again. whether you're here in Dumaguete or whether you're in California, which is, well, where someone was. So I'll see a shout out to them, and I hope you all are having a great day, and I'll show you a little video of what we took there in the restaurant. So take care, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.
1, 2, 3, smiles.
Oh, one for us. We'll have a background.
Nagbe-video na, yan.
Okay. Hi to the vlog. Ma-future kami sa YouTube. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Smile.
Smile.
Pwede walang mashes for quick. We're all vaccinated, right?
And we're all vaccinated.
1, 2, 3, smile. One more. Okay.
Joe.
Can I take over your flag? Take over na to. Hi, sa vlog. When I saw your car,